I think I've got somewhat of a plan. I'm going to take camp down, put everything in my backpack, and I think I'm going to go down this saddle here. There's a big saddle here that gets that area to that area. I'm going to unpack my pack, put the tent, the sleeping bag, sleeping pad, things like that, even my food. I don't know if you can even see it. See, that's the food's over there. Up in a tree. And then make my way directly north. That should get me something to do. Get me far enough away where maybe there'll be some elk. You really got to get in there deep this late in the season because the hunting pressure pushes them further and further away from where all the hunting activity is. Some people say it's only 1 mile. Some people say it's got to be 5 miles. Some people say it's got to be up to 10 miles into wilderness areas. Give you an idea what the pack setup looks like. That's all my camping gear and food up in that tree. I have food for the day, I have water, my water filter. Put the trekking poles away, gonna be carrying the bow. This is the saddle. I don't know if you guys can get an idea. Comes down, this is the low point, and it kind of goes up that way. And right here is a trail. It's probably for both livestock and wild game, but I'm taking this straight over and down, which should open up into this beautiful meadow with a creek in it. That's where I'm going to eat my breakfast. I just followed that game trail, came right out of the woods there. I camped, probably right up there. And this is my creek. It's still kind of frozen. I'm going to head down here. I see some rocks. And hopefully I can get a little bit more depth in the water to fill up my dirty bag. So this is that creek I just filled up that way where it's a little bit faster running water. There's a little fish in here moving around. But this is the big meadow. Now another mile or so, mile and a half in from here is another meadow. Oh, there's a fish. So I just left the meadow. There's not going to be any elk in a meadow in the middle of the day. And check this out. Isn't this crazy? It's a huge, huge boulder field. It's in the middle of nowhere. But they often have trails, game trails, that go around them because they're a natural barrier. Elk aren't going to walk across this. So the idea is to get up on top of this, and this only goes up a couple 100 yards. And then we're in pretty deep. Further than I thought I was going to go. I'm going to get the bugle out. This meadow here, this is going east. It links into another meadow, into another meadow, into another meadow. All to the north, which is away from civilization, there are no more meadows. So this here is the main water source and main food source. So you can see that mountain there. You go over that to the south, you get closer to civilization, closer to where people are hunting. There is another meadow there. That's where most people hunt, on the other side of that mountain. So that's the meadow to the south of me. I'm trying to make my way up north, just a few more topographical lines up, and then you can see in there, it's kind of a flat area. Maybe there's something bedded up in there, but I want to get up high, call to this direction. Right now the wind is going straight this direction, up the hill. I got a ways to go, but you can see how those lines flatten out in that that flat area right there. Should make things a little bit easier. So I'm up on top now, and it's pretty flat on this topographical line. And I'm gonna follow this probably for an hour and keep calling into the wind. See what happens. I'm only going one more hour before I have to turn around and head back. Still nothing. No bugles, no mews, no nothing. I'm gonna have to kind of back out this way and loop around to the left. Not much deadfall, like recent deadfall. These trees here, like that one, and this one, these things fell a long time ago. It's very strange being in a forest that doesn't have half the pine trees fallen over dead. Another update from the wilderness. That's down towards the meadow. I've climbed all the way up. I'm on top of this big rock. And you probably won't be able to make it out on camera, but it's all downhill for 50 miles. I can just make it out through these trees here. And which starts another drainage, but that drainage doesn't have any meadows in it. This is a huge saddle that links two different drainages and that major food source. I'm not coming across anything. I haven't seen a single rub. I haven't seen a single pile of elk shit. So all these saplings here, these pine saplings, if this was a concentration area or a heavily traveled area, they would, this little tree right here, would be all raked up. All these little saplings in here would be. Not a single one. I haven't even jumped a mule deer. It's just kind of crazy. I just came out of the forest up here, and I'm back down to that meadow system that I thought would hold elk. I gotta head about 3 miles out. This is the least elk sign I've ever seen on a walk in the woods. No tracks, not really any game trails, no poop, no rubs. I mean, look at all these saplings here. Nothing here, nothing anywhere on my walk. It's rare that I've gone for a walk in the woods and not seen a rub. I'm curious how these fish live in the wintertime. I just saw one twice that size. We're at 10,000 feet. This little stream here is going to completely freeze. Oh, there comes the big one. There's the big one. Maybe I should take up fishing instead of bow hunting. At least bow hunting over-the-counter areas on public land. So I've covered quite a bit of distance since our last chat. This is what I'm looking for. This is several years old, but at least it's something. It's probably a mule deer. What makes this significant is we have a saddle type drainage coming down that leads out into the grass. And I've been checking all over for rubs just like that. And here's a perfect one. Right here. That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect for a deer or an elk to rub on. But nothing. Except that old one there. Usually I would have seen at least 10 by now. Even when we were out turkey hunting earlier in the year, we saw them all over the place. I think there's another old one back here. Real old. I mean, it's super old. That tree's dead as can be. Here's another example of what I look for when I'm scouting for a place to hunt. We have a little pocket. We even have some green grass still left in here. I would expect this would be a nice little spot for some elk. When you look at all these trees here, no rubs. The reason I picked this area is it said it was a summer concentration. Colorado State University has this map where they think all the animals are at certain times of the year. And they very well may have been here during summer. I mean, this is prime wallow area right here. This is still, look at that, it's still muddy. No wallows, no rubs on any of these pine trees. Crazy that there's no elk here. So I did find one rub. It's on a real small tree. The rub only goes up to here. So this, most of it's concentrated right down here. That's below my hip. It's about 2.5 feet off the ground. So this is a buck mule deer here in September. So that's good to know. There's some buck mule deers around. Not very many of these. This is the freshest one I've seen, and this is from last year. Hello everybody. It's November 9th and we are elk hunting, third rifle season. As you can tell, archery season didn't go so well. They had the National Forest shut down for most of the fall. It just opened yesterday. In very small amounts, very small pieces of the National Forest got opened in the area that we hunt. We've had some luck seeing elk so far this hunt in rifle season. We haven't seen them on property that we're allowed to hunt, but we're hopeful. We still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, still got about 4, maybe 5 days if we're real tough to get some elk in the area that we're allowed to hunt. We're kind of on a boundary of two separate units. There's a lot of private land around here, a lot of public land, surrounded by private land. So there's lots of videos to come. There's 2 other hunts prior to the one I'm on right now. All those were successful, highly successful. Got a lot of good video. Stay tuned. I'll be getting these videos out as I can. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.